Hello Nigeria, I am Jennifer Igwe. Welcome to this edition of Newsline as we await the final outcome of the presidential election. Lined up today are stories on things reporters observed during the election in different communities, including the coastal areas. Then a nation can be formidable through the ability of communities and cultures to cohabit and interact well. Stay tuned to find out how Borno State in northern Nigeria is home to many from southeast Nigeria. Our reporter is also set to tell us about rare skills in children and a platform that is helping to harness their exceptional talents. We have other intriguing stories that mirror societal mysteries. But as is a tradition, we'll start with the news, and my colleague Claire Adelabu Abdurazak in Abuja is waiting. Claire, I hope you voted.
Jennifer, good evening, and thank you very much. Maybe I should say congratulations to all of us for our sacrifices, collective sacrifices to keep our nation together. And of course, our labor will never be in vain. Hello and welcome to our Abuja Network Studio, and here is the news. INEC has commenced the collation of results for the presidential election, beginning with Ekiti State. Mio Gide reports that Ekiti was the only state available. Now, collation is to recommence 11 o'clock on Monday morning.
On Saturday, 25th February 2023, when the elections were going on, the INEC chairman promised that today, Sunday, 26th of February 2023, by 12 noon, the collation center will be declared open, which it did. Later on, he said by 6, the center will start receiving results from the various states. Expectedly, Ekiti State was the first, not just the first, was the only state available for collection. So after their presentation, with APC leading, followed by PDP, Labour Party, and NNPP, the INEC chairman asked the secretariat if any other state is available, which they said no.
Today, right now, we have only Ekiti State. But we are aware that there will be many more states concluding tonight and coming to Abuja. We'll make a special arrangement to bring them over quickly where there are no commercial flights to bring them, and where they are separated by considerable distance from Abuja. So on this note, and as I said in the afternoon, there will be interludes. We hereby adjourn and reconvene at 11 in the morning tomorrow. Thank you very much.
That took many by surprise, but for others, it was a great relief. So by tomorrow, 11 a.m., we will be convening here again to see whether more states will be available for collection for the presidential election 2023. From the National Collation Center, ICC Abuja, Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
All right, thank you, Mia. Now, the African Union Development Agency has described the deployment of technology, particularly the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, as a game changer in the Nigerian elections and worthy of emulation by African countries. Now, this follows an interim assessment of presidential and National Assembly elections at Nepal's Situation Room here in Abuja. Our correspondent, Mitairi Ikben, was there.
Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The African Union Development Agency, which implements the African peer review mechanism, notes that reports from its 300 observers monitoring the Nigerian elections nationwide indicate a reduction of vote buying and result manipulation to the barest minimum compared with past elections. This time around, NEPAD believes Nigerians have more confidence on the credibility of the electoral process as a result of the deployment of technology for the
election. And going forward, I want INEC to build on this so that it will serve as an example for the African countries.
The determination of the electorate, where even where they have skirmish in some polling booths, they come back and continue voting, which has brought about the extension until this 26th, Sunday 26th. And that is a good thing on the part of INEC to also give people the room to exercise their right.
The African Union Development Agency says its situation room will be active even after the general elections to compile best practices for the African peer review mechanism, as well as areas that require further reform of the Nigerian electoral system. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
And the civil society organizations have observed that many eligible voters have been disenfranchised as they have not been able to cast their ballot. They urge INEC to consider these matters among other troubling complaints. Our correspondent Deborah Balagbobo reports.
Of election raised by the civil societies are upheld election in some local government areas, late resumption of INEC officials on polling units, malfunctioning of beavers, slow uploads of results on INEC portal, and harassment of some civil society observers.
Our role as civil society and independent observer is to support the process and ensure high integrity. The time is of essence, and INEC must respond.
We want to say that as ready to lead Africa and our partners here, we call on Nigerians to remain calm, work with INEC.
The Electoral Analysis Center of the CDD also urged journalists to stick to facts on their various reportage, noting that civil societies have limits and cannot demand measures from INEC, but can only make recommendations.
CDD work is centered around really fact-checking, and therefore, will not join any group or any individual to, concoct stories that are not, verifiable.
So I'd call on everyone to be responsible, to be patriotic, to put the country first.
While commending INEC for carrying out its mandate, the civil societies made a case for prompt attention on the issues raised. In Abuja, Deborah Balagubo, NTA News.
While the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has asked the national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to instruct the collation officers of yesterday's election to upload the results from the polling units to the INEC server. Atiku says that this has become necessary to checkmate some governors whom he says are trying to compromise the results at the local government collation level, adding that, according to him, it will be a disservice to Nigerians and a negation to democracy for anyone to subvert the will of the people as freely expressed in their votes of yesterday, Atiku says. He called the Nigerians to be calm but vigilant and ensure that anti-democratic elements do not steal their mandate. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is aware of challenges with the INEC results viewing portal, IREV. Unlike in off-season elections where the portal was used, a statement by the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, says the technical hitches are related to scaling up the IREV from a platform for managing off-season state elections to one for managing nationwide general elections, adding that it is not unusual for glitches to occur and be corrected in such situations. Consequently, the Commission wishes to assure Nigerians that the challenges are not due to any intrusion or sabotage of their systems and that the IREV remains well secured. While the technical team is working assiduously to solve all the outstanding problems, INEC says the electorate can rest assured that results from the polling units, copies of which were issued to political parties, are safe on both the BVAS and IREF portal. Now, these results cannot be tampered with, and any discrepancy between them and the fiscal results used in collation will be thoroughly investigated and remediated in line with Section 65 of the Electoral Act 2022. And civil society situation rooms have commended Nigerians on their resilience and determination to vote, encouraging them to remain patient and peaceful as they await the collation of results and declaration of winners. Our correspondent Timothy Yusuf tells us more.
And guidelines for elections to be transparent and credible in the collation of results.
We also enjoin INEC to take stock of the polling units where election did not take place and make them public. The Situation Room advocates for more vigilance by the security agencies in the post-election period.
Similar preliminary report by the Yaga Africa Watching the Vote recorded 135 critical incidences, ranging from late arrival of materials, ballot boxes destruction and snatching, as well as violence across the country. It, however, cautioned that only INEC has the legal mandate to announce results.
Political leaders should urge their supporters, in particular, to calmly await the official result and take appropriate actions against any party member who engages in violence or incitement to violence.
The Women's Situation Room Observatory also noted recorded delays and pockets of violence across the country.
To a very large extent, we would say it has been peaceful with pockets of violence here and there. And that's why we're calling on INEC to address some of these growing concerns. If these growing concerns are not addressed, there is that tendency of escalation, of tension, and possible outbreak of violence. So they need to address these issues as have been put forward to them. Speak Out Africa Radar Room enjoined Nigerians to exercise restraint, even in the face of recorded irregularities in the Saturday, February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections in some parts of the country.
INEC has done appreciably. We know it is not easy. For now, results have been coming in, and we are still watching. We are still following and tracking the election process and the counting and other places.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy emphasized that lessons recorded in the presidential and National Assembly elections should be lessons for the forthcoming March 11, 2023 election.
All of the stakeholders on the electoral value chain are putting in their best to make sure that we have good elections, credible elections, but the political parties and actors seem not to be taking a cue.
Political parties and politicians should caution their supporters and abide by the signed peace accord agreement. The Situation Rooms noted. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And in other news now, following early morning fire disaster that destroyed significant parts of the Maiduguri Modern Central Market, Borno State Governor has announced a palliative of 1 billion naira in a broadcast to the people. Emergency responders battled the fire and other attendant security issues, including hundreds of restive youth that attacked NTA crew at the scene. Zainab Adam reports.
Large portions of the Maiduguri Monday Market, central hub of economic activities in the Borno State capital, destroyed in a fire incident reported to have started in the early hours of today, prompting security personnel and fire brigade to rush in as first responders. Located in the central part of Maiduguri, the fire attracted traders and youths, but were prevented from entering for fear of looting. By morning, the market was still on fire as firefighting vehicles take turns to quench the flames that had already destroyed a large portion of commercial bees. Tempers and emotions high, and thousands of youths gathering from all over. NTA Maiduguri crew were attacked at the scene of the fire, beaten, equipment damaged, and personal belongings stolen. The team of 3 are now safe, rescued by the GOC 7 Division Nigerian Army Major General Waidi Shuaibu with his troops and Good Samaritan residents of the market neighborhood. The female reporter on location was treated at the 7th Division Nigerian Army Hospital and discharged in the presence of the GOC 7th Division and Zonal Director NTA Maiduguri, Mohammed Abubakar. Worried by the unfortunate disaster, Governor Zulum made a special broadcast where he sympathized with the victims, appealed for calm and announced a 1 billion naira palliative.
Duk wannan mutane wanda wannan abu ya same su ina aika musu gaisuwa na su yi hakuri wannan abin daga Allah ne ya tashi abin da Allah bai yi ba mutum ba zai yi ba za mu ce inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un.
The governor, who was deeply pained by the magnitude of losses, urged all not to politicize the unfortunate disaster, promising to establish an assessment committee to speedily collect a comprehensive list of those affected and extent of losses for urgent response. The modern Maiduguri Monday market was built about 40 years ago following a fire disaster that destroyed the old structure. Another fire incident had damaged part of the market 20 years ago. In Maiduguri, Zainab Adam, NTA News.
Quite unfortunate there. Now, following an outbreak of a major fire incident which razed the popular Maiduguri Monday market, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for vigilance as winds and rising temperatures increase the risks of fires in forests, homes, public buildings and markets. The president, who expressed grief over the destruction caused by the early morning fire on Sunday, says the nation's prayers and condolences are with the hardworking traders and their families who have reportedly saved very little or nothing from the fire. President Buhari commended the immediate response of the governor, Professor Babagana Zulum's government, to the incident and directed effective coordination and collaboration between federal and state agencies to bring needed relief to those who are affected. The president urged the state and federal agencies responsible for fire management to strive towards higher levels of preparedness, mitigation and efforts, as well as strengthening their response mechanisms to deal with the increasing menace of market and other fire disasters. Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, sympathizes with victims of the early morning fire that gutted the popular Monday market in Maiduguri, Borno State. In a statement, the President of the Senate also commiserates with the state government and the entire people of Borno State over the unfortunate incident and expressed the belief that the appropriate authorities would find out the cause of the incident with a view to preventing a recurrence. Similarly, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has expressed deep sadness over the huge fire that razed the popular Monday market in Maiduguri, Borno State. In a condolence message, the APC candidate says he is deeply saddened by the news of the fire, saying his prayers and thoughts are with Governor Babagana Zulum, the government and people of Borno State, and the direct victims who lost their wares and life investment to this rather unfortunate inferno that brought down the sprawling market that has been part of the socio-economic fabric of Maiduguri for decades. And the federal government is harnessing solar resources in rural areas nationwide to provide affordable electricity to hard-to-reach communities. Our correspondent Joshua Ojito reports that border communities in Benue State are the latest beneficiaries of the solar-powered project.
Excitement and sense of fulfillment palpable as rural communities in Benue State witnessed the inauguration of solar-powered project. Chairman, Senate Committee on Power, Gabriel Suswam, inaugurates the solar hybrid mini-grid in Anwase, Kwanda local government area of Benue State, on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari.
This solves them without any problem. The cost is far less than the national grid, connecting to national grid. I want to encourage the federal government to make sure that they provide mini-grid to isolated rural areas so that they will also benefit from electricity.
The federal government is bent down to see that these remote communities that are far away from the grid, which cannot see electricity maybe in the next 10, 15, 20 years, to provide a mini-grid solution. So that's the essence of this particular project in the rural area. And the infrastructure is designed in a way that is expandable, and also so that it can accommodate a lot of communities.
Executed by the federal government under the Renewable Energy Micro Utility Program, which Federal Ministry of Power is implementing, the mini grid is to provide electricity to households, business outlets, and street lights to enhance security of the communities.
We already advised the community to look for this project so that it can not be a failure.
Before you charge your phone here, you have to move more than 10 kilometers before you can access electricity. But now that we have it, at least it's better than before.
Now we are enjoying this life. We are saying thank you to government.
From here to Cameroon is a distance of less than 20 kilometers, and it is an agrarian community. For the people of this area, the power project will stimulate economic growth.
With capacity for grid connection, the solar-powered project also covers more than 7 kilometers township distribution network. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And the death has been announced of Chief Salmon Kayode Abodunrin Fashola, near Uncle K of Lagos State. The statement by Alhaji Hakeem Olakunle Fashola on behalf of the family says Salmon, who was born on December 16th, 1947, died Saturday, February the 25th, 2023, and has been buried according to Islamic rites this Sunday in Lagos. He is survived by wives, children, and grandchildren. And that ends the news segment of Newsline. In just a moment after the commercials, we'll be joining Jennifer Igwe as she unfolds a baggage of intriguing stories that touch the heart.
NAPAD says, let's have a free, fair, credible, and violence-free elections. Let's conduct ourselves in line with democratic tenets and in accordance with the electoral law. Let us all partner in sustaining the gains of democracy and building the Nigerian project. Vote and not fight, for your vote is more powerful than you think. This message is brought to you by Auda NAPAD and APRM Nigeria Secretariat.
For us journalists on election duty, we sometimes come across developments we consider different from narratives we're used to. When this happens, we don't just take note and move on, but we ask questions. Lanre Gbeleyi made such observations while on duty. Let's hear from him.
During my election coverage, I couldn't help but make some observations as the election took place in Lagos metropolis. The ever-busy CMS bus stop became unbelievably serene. It can only take a national exercise of great importance, such as the general election, for that part of Lagos to wear that look. The general election also prompted 80-year-old Papa Olateju to wake up early in the morning and be the first to arrive at the polling center. How else can commitment be described?
I have been participating in elections since 1954. I have never declined an opportunity to perform my civic duty.
Then there was the novel bimodal accreditation system, BVAS, that impressed voters so much. They couldn't get over the way the machine speeded up the exercise. Interacting with some voters in the neighborhood I visited, I realized how they marveled at the way the machine changed the voting process in this election.
This election and the previous one, definitely this election is more perfect than the previous one, because the beaver surely helps. I'm not talking of where the beaver make where there's error, but where I cast my vote, the beaver make it easy.
Unlike before, where you do accreditation and it's after 2, 3, 5, 4 hours after accreditation that you start voting. Now people come, within 10 seconds you are accredited, you vote, and you leave.
Initially at the early stage we had the network stuff, but over a short period we came over it all, and people just voted with ease, and the time lag of accreditation voting is just it's seamless.
Some even projected that in the next general elections, advanced technology might be the order of the day with the introduction of beavers.
The next 4 years, I think the INEC should have it that we could always cast our vote in the convenience of our home without disturbing any neighbors. So they should improve on it. Yes, they will be talking about hackers or things, but I think those who are doing the programming be ahead of those hackers.
That's something to ponder, isn't it?
I agree with the last respondents. Honestly, I cannot wait for the time when you can actually sit at home and vote. I think a lot of people will opt for that option. Now, the 2023 general elections has been a blessing in disguise for some of the riverine areas, as exercise is helping to draw attention to their untapped economic potential. Joel Pupola reports that residents are optimistic of more development in their domain, having exercised their franchise. He says a trip to the communities along the coastline of Lagos was an interesting avenue for him to find out what life for those in the riverine area is like. And for him, it was his first time traveling by boat.
The boat ride on the waterways of Lagos was an ample opportunity to explore the aquatic beauty of the state. Despite the strong currents, life jacket was an assurance of safety for the NTA crew, including the patrol team of the Nigerian Navy and the maritime police, who were enforcing restriction of movement along the waterways. The economy around the jetty would have been a hive, but due to the election, there was a lull in fishing and other businesses. The number of eligible voters who turned out in Igbo Logun and other neighboring villages was quite encouraging. Residents of the communities believe their turnout will attract the attention of government to some of their protracted developmental challenges.
Though we have more than 30 communities that made up of Woje Igbo Logun. Igbo Logun is the secretariat or the headquarters, so that alone make it unique.
Igbo Elejo, which translates to Snake Island, is a unique community that paints a picturesque backdrop of the simplicity of communal life of harmony and happiness. Ituago, another community on the fringe of the Lagos Lagoon, is dominated by larger boat riders and fishermen. It is in their need of social amenities. Residents are hoping the election will change their narrative.
So when you hear of shrimp and crayfish, this is the headquarters in Lagos. So we have Ondo market for crayfish, we have Oron in Nigeria. So when you talk about Lagos, this is the landing place and the popularity of Liverpool jetty for crayfish. This is the, as you can see this boat from here to that. That is a traditional fishing community, fishing jetty. So the people are hardworking. They have spendable income, and all they need from government is cooperation and development.
We need hospital because of our pregnancy women. We need hospital because of our children. We need hospital because of health.
So we are poor man people here. We are poor people here. So if anybody enter today, is to remember that in riverine area, they should remember us for good.
Life of those in coastal communities revolves around water, so it is not uncommon to see people swimming or picking periwinkles like this young boy.
A boat ride on the coastline of Lagos can be a very dreadful experience for a first-timer. But after the initial anxiety of my first attempt, it is now becoming an interesting experience. And with a life jacket like this, I would not mind doing this on a daily basis.
Thank you, Joel. And you know, he said he wouldn't mind going there on a daily basis. That's, you can imagine that people in those areas, for them, is just normal. And I'm glad this has given an opportunity to voice some of the challenges that they have. And I like the fact that they are very hopeful and expectant. Now, those communities he visited can only be accessed by boat. We're going to another community that can be accessed both by boat and on road. Now, Ekpe town is in the outskirts of Lagos State. While covering the election there, Amaka Owo interacted with two women with occupations linked to the marine. They also have interesting knowledge about the lagoon in Ekpe and how it connects to other parts of Lagos and beyond.
I came to Ekpe, and after visiting various police units, because the people of the area are predominantly fishermen, I just got interested in getting close to the Ekpe River.
For us to come back to meet Madame Dupe. She is a fisherwoman who has been in the trade for 2 decades now. A day without making a catch, she says, can take a toll on her income. So, after casting her ballot, Madame Dupe went fishing.
So we just keep this fish at this morning. So this is tilapia, and this is obokun. This one is small one, no, is gogo, but the big one is obokun. So we use nets to catch them. At our area, Ibejuleki, so we don't food. By the time that I finish food, that is why they put ice block. If it is tomorrow or today, if I see person we won't buy, or if I not see the person we won't buy, I go fire.
Latifa, the doing story is not different. Her family and children rely on her and what she earns from fishing. Like Madame Dupe, combing the marine for fish, a male-dominated occupation, is a daily affair. She buttresses the saying that what a man can do, a woman can do even better.
She says she has been in this business since the past 10 years, that this is what she's doing. This is her occupation, this is her profession. And with this profession, she has been able to take care of herself and the children.
Done with the inspiring women, my crew and I visited some historic sites in Ekpe, such as the first central mosque built in 1800, the home and tomb of the first Balogun of Ekpe Kingdom, Chief Balogun Ajenia, who reigned from 1851 to 1856.
So this late Balogun Ajenia grave is one of those warrior that follow Kosoko from Lagos down to Ekpe in 1851. It's a very powerful person, which is among followers of Kosoko, very, very powerful and strong person.
Ekpe is an old town, very, very old town. What you call rural is, you see, because virtually civilizations almost started from this point and then radiates out. And luckily, we still have our relics of the old civilization around, which you can pick and then you can have a look at. That's why tourism will be a very good option for us here.
My election coverage and tour also took me to the palace of the first Oba of Ekpe. During the short stay, I discovered that Ekpe is indeed a beautiful city with considerable untapped tourism potential. When I left the town, I knew I would return, and I am eagerly looking forward to it.
Now, there are so many places in Lagos that you visit and you want to go back there. And I can tell you, Ekpe is one of such places. Wait till you see the bush. Now, they don't, not illegal bushmeat, the bushmeat market and the fish market in Ekpe. Now, when Annie Daniels went to monitor the presidential election, among the places she chose were areas where an average Lagosian would never love to visit on election day. Did I hear you ask why? Annie has the answers, including things she discovered there.
Ikoyi, Banana Island and environs remain calm as some residents perform their franchise.
I have to perform it because I have children, I have grandchildren, so I want a better Nigeria.
This is a monumental election. Nigerians have been praying, so by God's grace, He'll answer our prayers.
Then from the island, we headed to the mainland. We drove through the third mainland bridge, where a camera lens caught these children riding bicycles. Sure. And here we are at Ajegunle, or should I say AJ City. They call themselves area boys.
We are hustler, we don't steal. We are working hard.
for the country to be good.
Don't get them wrong. The eligible ones among them have cast their ballots and await the results.
Any one of them where they enter, make them remember Nigeria people, make the everything circulate regular.
Regular. Circulate. Regular. Circulate.
Regular.
Circulate.
Regular.
Circulate.
Regular.
Our next port of call was Mushi, a habitation of area boys.
You see them going in the morning. They don't know where they are going. The children.
The boys were busy, and not even the presence of these fully armed security men could scare them away.
And the soldiers, they didn't attack us, they didn't do anything for us. Assuming you are showing bottle now, you can't come and do rally, you want to do anything here. Mushi area is good area. There's no more fighting in Mushi again. All the old people that is fighting, we are now using one level.
It's my polling unit is even inside the ghetto, inside the ghetto side, okay? And Ifowoshi in Mushi. And I'm coming from there and things are actually going smoothly.
Did I forget to inform you that the joy of these area boys knew no bounds when they saw our crew? Here is the reason.
We need work. We can't be staying in one place.
If I'm employing now for my company, which job you fit do?
Cleaners, workers, gateman, security, along, cookers, anyone can do it along. Nothing we say we don't fit do. Not sport boys, any work we fit drive, if we work, we get power, still this small, we get power, normal.
That means I drive, they drive. If I don't drive motor, I go people. Now they give me money, make it a job.
Need I say more? The area boys say they have realized they have a role to play in building a better society. Who knows? One of them may be on his way to the greenhouse.
We all have a role to play in building our nation. No one should be left out. Now, the APC Campaign Council has decried what it called disingenuous attempts by the opposition parties, spokesmen of their campaign councils, and hired talking heads on television and radio stations to discredit the presidential and National Assembly elections conducted nationwide Saturday. The council, in a statement, noted that spokespersons of Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council and that of the People's Democratic Party Atiku Presidential Campaign Council threw caution to the wind by their inciting and incendiary comments on social media and TV stations, where they have been making baseless and irresponsible allegations of electoral manipulations and other malpractices against APC and INEC in a bid to cause disaffection and civil unrest in the country, while urging INEC to expedite action on the process of uploading the results. The statement says there is nothing unusual about the seeming delay. INEC returning officers bringing the results to the National Collation Center from the 30 states, it says, may be contending with possible travel logistics, as witnessed on day one of the collation on Sunday, when only Ekiti State was ready with its results. It also noted that there would also be technical issues with INEC results viewing portals, which the APC Presidential Campaign Council says it believes the Commission will quickly resolve. It pointed out that the election results have been announced and made public at polling units and duly signed and accredited party agents in line with the electoral law. There is no political party that does not have election results from all over 176,000 polling units across the country, except for few locations elections did not hold, other than that the Abuja collation is merely ceremonial. The council says it suspects the opposition parties making unnecessary fuss over the results of the polls, are only afraid of facing the reality of their defeat, adding that elections are not a do-or-die affair. They are meant to be won by some and lost by some. And from there, we take a break. Newsline continue shortly.
Guy, my brother, my blood. E no get waiting fall from sky, we ground no fit carry. We have been through a lot, and we still stand strong. If you remember, together we overcame monsters, battled the darkness, and even survived loss. But we became unbreakable, unstoppable. So guy, shake off the bad vibe. Face the world with your full chest. Because this life, forget, you and me, now we go run out.
Staying on the line. If there is one state in Nigeria other than the southeastern part where the Igbo-speaking people, known for their entrepreneurial spirit, versatility, and penchant for mobility, have found a home away from home, it is Borno State. The reason for this is unhindered opportunities, fraternal relationships, and the serenity they enjoy from the host community. Notable among these opportunities is that some of them work under the state government's payroll. Zainab Adam in Maiduguri, the state capital, takes it from here.
A drive along some major streets in the expansive and bubbling city of Maiduguri, notably Bolori, Dubai, Shagari Locust, and Cheskon quarters, is quite revealing on the thinking that the Igbos have indeed found a home away from their ancestral home, owing to their heavy presence. Not even the more than a decade-long deadly Boko Haram insurgency could make most of them to shift base from Maiduguri.
I grew up here in Maiduguri. Borno State is a home that our Igbo brothers, parents, most of them that brought us here, they have been enjoying from the land, and the land have been helping us.
Maiduguri followed me. I came 89, I married 89, I got job 89. So since that 89, I've been in educational line. There was insurgency, and still we refused to go. Under rain, under sun, we are teaching.
Before the insurgency, I was frequenting Oba. I love that they are here. Go and sit down on the foot of the hill, read their newspaper, and watch the natural scenario. The state governments have been supportive, really.
Igbo kwezono omunnem na Nigeria as no yadra manaha Jesus.
With your little capital, you can start up a business. That's one of the advantages in Maiduguri.
This is a place that maybe someone that is upcoming, maybe trying to train his children, can live. I get to relate with people outside my culture, and it's kind of lively and kind of safe as well.
Maiduguri have been a very good thing and a very nice thing for me because at least I've had a little achievement from here.
Knowing fully well that the Igbos have a strong attachment with their cultural beliefs, to what extent are they allowed to display such by their host community?
Actually, we are also many women from Anambra State living here in Maiduguri. This is our meetings uniform. We only wear this when we are going to our meeting.
As far as this Hescon is concerned, I'm the only one selling this bangas. We call it Ofaku in my place.
Home is anywhere where you can flourish, and that can happen in any part of Nigeria. I've been to Maiduguri before, and it was a very pleasant experience. Now, the issue of out-of-school children in Nigeria has been a concern for many years and remains a major topic among parents, teachers, stakeholders, and the government. Over the years, however, efforts have been made to address the issue. Abdul Malik Hassan will tell us about them.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning.
And another day of school for pupils like young Sultan. His mien and strides depict his eagerness to join his peers in the classroom. At about the same time, it is different strokes for Mohammed Sudais, who ideally should be in school as a junior secondary school student, but unfortunately is not. His schooling days are temporarily on hold, and the reason for that situation sounds typically familiar.
I started schooling in Kano, but had to drop out at a point to visit my grandparents in the village. I told my parents to send my documents so that I can enroll in school, but they refused. That is why I came to Abuja to hawk.
Yet again, for others like Ezekiel, Elijah and Emmanuel, the streets are their usual terrain and not the classroom. Their own stories reek of disappointment and the pains of exclusion.
Our mother, our father don't die. That is why we did for street.
It's because of my father's wife. When we say she never give me food fast, that's why I got my fast.
We just stay here. The bank money. It's my father that pushed me out.
All these played out in spite of the 2004 Universal Basic Education Act that provides free and compulsory education to children between the age of 6 to 14 without discrimination. Although enrollment in public-owned schools are free, certain monetary requirements continue to impact the capacity of average and low-income families. The rising cost of ascribed fees and the inability to meet some of these financial demands are now considered contributory factors for the null in public school enrollment and the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria.
It's rather unfortunate that this is happening, and that's why the community leaders have a very big role to play. If government will enforce the law, enforce that UBE Act 2004, which says that if any parent denies his child, any guardian denies his word of going to school, he should be fined.
To fully understand the current trend of enrollment in schools and intervene appropriately, the Universal Basic Education Commission carried out a survey to identify causative factors for students dropping out of school. The target includes the identification of those who discontinued their schooling due to poverty, disability, and other natural and man-made disasters. The report of the last of the survey is contained in the 2022 National Personnel Audit.
The federal government had from day one, since 2016, had to approach the World Bank and begin to discuss how do we make sure that we can bring down the numbers of out-of-school children that we have within the country, and we can tackle it. And I think Besta had done a wonderful job. And for the last 4 years, over 5 million kids have been enrolled. Within that particular, within a period of 2-3 years, despite the disruptions caused by COVID.
Now, let's take a look at policies aimed at addressing the menace. The Girl Education Project saw enrollment of more than 1.4 million girls in school. The UBE matching grants to states, school feeding program, conditional cash transfers, teacher professional development, school safety and protection policies, as well as policies to ban on early marriages. The education subsector is also integrating the Almajiri system, where these children could also have access to basic education.
And also beginning to see how do we introduce vocational education. That these kids, as they are moving forward, when many of them are older learners, will be able to acquire a trade or some vocation that can help them make a decent living. But I think I need to also address the issue. The various activity that has been going on, isn't it, has been able to stabilize the numbers that we have, particularly at that critical stage of the 6 to 11-year-olds.
There are 5 thematic action plans to reduce the number of out-of-school children by 2030. This includes improving quality and relevance of learning for out-of-school children, community and accountability in mobilization, information technology, and financing, among others.
We really need to do all we can because education is not a privilege, it's a right. So all hands must be on deck. We shouldn't have children out of school. Now, still talking on children, the beauty of African culture was showcased as young Nigerians from different schools in Lagos came together to demonstrate their creative skills and talents in a variety of ways. Diana Ajale reports that the event was put together by the Center for Black African Arts and Civilization with the aim of unleashing the great potential of children in order to promote the rich African cultural heritage.
Children's Talent Hunt best describes the event. Harnessing the creative potential of the African child is the primary focus. The sounds produced by the talking drum, the traditional chants, the horns of the saxophone, the high vibrating rhythm of the body in response to the beats and melodies of the songs, and the harmony of dance steps reflect true African culture. Six-year-old talking drummer, Sofiat Olaide, who came fully prepared, did not disappoint her audience. For the children, the event offered a unique opportunity for them to demonstrate their skills.
I've not gone to any show that I'll be able to do something like this. I think they gave me the opportunity to express myself.
Just to my mom one day, Mommy, you want to go and learn talking drum? She said, is everything that you want to learn? I said, yes, this talking drum, I must learn it.
For you to promote your culture, the first thing people see when they look at you is what you're wearing. So I think one of the other ways to promote our culture will be our dress sense should reflect who we are.
We'll try as much as possible to bring out these gifts that God has given them.
This platform aims to uncover untapped talent among young Nigerians and to help them build a career from it.
I like initiatives like this because culture, apart from helping to give children a sense of identity and moral values, can also help them build their career in areas related to culture. I think we should think about that. Do you think twins really have the mystical powers that traditional African beliefs ascribe to them? Do you think? Well, you must see this report of a pair of twins, Hassan and Hussein, in Kebbi State, who were arrested as suspects in a murder case that they did not commit. But as fate would have it, the real culprits were arrested for another crime. The real culprit was arrested for another crime and taken to the center where the twins were remanded, and he confessed to the murder. Usman Abdullahi Shehu will tell us about the rest of the story.
State are victims of circumstances.
Soile Umar of Badarel Kalgo in Kebbi State are victims of circumstances. They were detained for 7 months as suspect of...
Abubakar was attacked and his motorcycle snatched on his way back home for the day's business. The victim was in coma for about a month following the injuries sustained, and when he eventually regained consciousness, he repeatedly was calling the names Hassan and Husseini, and that was the focal point of the arrest of Hassan and Husseini as prime suspects to the crime. While in detention, a suspected criminal was arrested and brought to the same prison. And during their daily conversations, he told them how he killed and snatched a motorcycle along Badaria Kalgo. Unknown to him, that was the crime they were arrested for, and the motorcyclist is not dead. This led to the release of Hassan and Husseini. The lucky twins were full of praises to Almighty Allah for exposing the truth and setting them free.
We thank God that the truth has been revealed. We hold no grudges against anyone. Alhamdulillah. Whatever God has ordained for a man will surely get to him. We thank Allah for accepting our prayers and bringing out the real culprits.
The father, Umaru Badaria, thanked the community for their prayers, which played a significant role to the scenario.
I would like to thank the people of our community for their prayers and good wishes. May Allah reward them. I'm happy that the world knows my children are not criminals.
Barrister Yusuf Muhammad spoke on the position of the law in situations like this.
The admission is given by the offender. He confessed before the court, and he confessed in his statement that he is the one who committed an offense. The law permits the court to convict him and sentenced him accordingly. And the other people that were arrested and detained in connection or in relation with that offense, the court has nothing to do but to discharge and acquitted them, because the essence of trial is to discover the actual offender and to find who is culpable on the alleged offense.
The Badaria Kalgo community went agog following the release of Hassan and Husseini. So now, was it the spiritual might about twins, fate or nemesis that has come to play? I leave that for you to decide.
Not celebrating indeed. Imagine the charge. And I think it's just divine intervention. I mean, if your hands are clean, God will always stand for you. We'll take another break. Newsline will continue short. That is most times physically undertaken to find answers and reaffirm one's faith. And because it is often expensive and outside the reach of many, even when they are willing, the temptation to see the price of pilgrimage only from money spent is high. But is money the only thing involved? In this report, Adeni Itaiwo captured the experience of some Christian pilgrims in Jerusalem and Jordan.
With a temperature hovering between 6, sometimes 3 to 10 degrees Celsius, the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan in the month of February is extremely cold. And it gets colder on and around the mountains that house sacred sites and relics from the earthly ministries of some biblical characters.
Compared to Israel, pilgrimage to Jordan is a bit rare, but for pilgrims who are lucky to be here in Jordan, a visit to Mount Makarios is one of the benefits that they get. Look at the view. That mountain is where, according to the Bible, John the Baptist was beheaded by King Herod.
While these 289 pilgrims from Abuja, Edo, and others who made up the 7th batch of the 2022-2023 Christian pilgrims from Nigeria would say they received a fair warning about the cold from officials of the Nigeria Christian Pilgrims Commission, the weather they came to know was still a lot to deal with. Despite his extensive travels around the world and being already accustomed to cold, 70-year-old Paul Setumari and his wife will rather err on the side of caution by taking preventive measures.
For long I have been in Nigeria, so I'm trying to adjust.
Okay, so what are you doing to cope?
Well, I put on plenty clothes on me. You will see I've dressed 3 different clothes. So I'm warm enough.
To a casual observer, Victoria Bako is physically unable to embark on the pilgrimage. None of her legs is bad, so she and her caregivers had to make extra effort to get her on the bus, climb the mountains, and even reach the Dead Sea, the lowest point on earth. However, by her sheer willpower, Victoria missed out on little on the pilgrimage, paying the extra price in sweat and pain, born with candor.
I was in Jordan, and I've gone to the first day I was not there with them, but I went out the second day. And since we came to Israel I've gone to Nazareth today, gone to all the sites, Mountain of Beatitudes, Capernaum, and here we are in River Jordan. What really made me to continue with this journey is just the grace of God. I believe that being here, the Lord will do something for me. That's why I have to bear every pain.
She even got baptized in River Jordan. Yes, the same one where the Lord Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist. For her and many other pilgrims, these are extra costs to bear in order to encounter the reality of the Bible, told by flowing rivers, resolute ancient mountains, and enduring symbols, both in Jerusalem and Jordan.
Interesting trip. I was waiting to see the part where Adeni told us he prayed, because he kept talking about how he prayed for all of us when he got there, but I didn't see you praying in the report, Adeni. Now, every challenge is an opportunity for Nigerians to think outside the box for solutions. While some are yet to embrace the cashless policy, others are already boosting sales by adopting alternative payment methods. Joel Popola reports that some Lagosians are also imbibing a culture of saving.
Residents have a way of easily adapting to situations, while some in the country are yet to come to terms with the cashless and Naira redesign policy. Traders in Lagos are already a step ahead, as many now accept transfers through POS, bank apps, SMS code-based mobile banking, and other forms of cashless payments. At Obalende, the computer village in Ikeja, and other markets, traders are boosting their sales by aligning with the new payment options.
I accept transfer because when I don't have any other alternative to make sales, of course I must accept transfer. But
if customer come now, they won't do something like, for example, now say they want face screen now, they got to transfer to my account. Or the transfer. I mean, if I want to go buy the screen inside market, I will still do transfer for them. As
a big fan of Mama Put, the popular roadside vendor in Lagos, I bought my lunch from this seller through SMS code payments. Some Lagos residents say Naira swap is a blessing in disguise, as it is helping them jettison frivolous spending and imbibing a culture of saving.
Like normal, you hold cash before you spend it, but now if you calculate how much, okay, I withdraw 10, I withdraw 20 in a day, you just have the help a lot to save.
For someone to have the money and you want to spend it wisely, you have to do your scale of preference. I mean, what is it called? You schedule, you have what you want to buy.
It's like you have to be prudent. This is opportunity cost. Then it's just like what is essential for you to get. Let's just see what is essential for you to get. That's what you are going to get. What's not much essential for you to get, then you get away from there.
Me, I try my possible best not to overspend.
Samuel Showumi is a financial expert. He believes that the cashless policy will expand the economy and open up additional investment opportunities.
It is going to create a lot of investment. The banking sector needs to go and do aggressive investment in IT infrastructure. Those people that are going to build software for the telecommunication industry, there will be massive, opportunity for them to make money. Telecommunication too has to raise money. They have to raise finance to beef up all this, equipment that we are looking for now. So it's a win-win thing going into the future.
Despite the CBN directive to financial institutions to reduce charges on transactions to the barest minimum, some Lagosians say banks still deduct charges.
Well, change can be hard, but inevitable. And if it has benefits, great ones, why not? You just need to make small adjustments. To a story that happened at the beginning of the year, there are lessons to learn from it and something we need to take away from that case. Now, the story of the gruesome murder of the Fatinoyes by their driver is a pathetic and bitter lesson for Nigerians. Now, with the necessity of domestic staff in most homes, how best can they be treated to avoid a repeat of the Abeokuta horrific incident? Yemi Dalemo in this next report seeks answers.
In Nigeria, engaging the services of domestic staff is necessary due to the nature and demand of their jobs. These domestic staff, among other things, take care of domestic chores and other jobs specifications required by their employer. In the case of late Fatinoyes of Ibara GRA area of Abeokuta, their driver Lekon Adekombi sent them to their untimely grave in a most gruesome manner and also killed their only surviving son, who could have brought them grandchildren that will carry the name of the family to the next generation. What could have led a trusted domestic staff of many years to terminate the life of his boss?
Psychological issues that might be at play include things like severe anger and rage, jealousy, envy, and a sense of entitlement.
On lessons to be learned from dangers inherent in hiring domestic staff, a sociologist highlights some criteria to avoid stories like that of Lekon Adekombi.
Don't hire people that you want to take as your aides or domestic staff that are not well known in terms of their background. We need more of our blood relations living with us.
Some residents of Abeokuta who engage the services of domestic staff relate their experiences.
Don't treat them like housemates. I always treat them like my family member.
I prefer having a domestic staff from our extended family where you can feel this person is part of me.
I advise everyone to take their domestic part as an integral part of themselves. They should always find out about their own well-being.
Observers say there is need for all to continue to show love to fellow human beings, irrespective of class or social status, as the Holy Books encourages.
Agree with the expert there. When you treat people right, they will show some level of loyalty. But we also have exceptions where no matter how you're nice and treat people as family, they have a way of bringing out the worst in them. Time for our last break. Newsline continues after that.
Shallow, it's okay, make it relax like it's your by day. Anything you want to do it on, if you do, I'm no need to delay. You don't need to stress yourself, eh? You got that world in your hand. Living like a baby girl for life, make the people know. If you wanna buy your headtime, oh yes. Easy access, now one time. Oh yes. Everything break it there, oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. My MTN.
Download my MTN NG app and get.
I'm back. The remains of Alhaji Abodunrin Kayode Fashola have been laid to rest according to Islamic rites in the Ikoyi Vaults and Garden, Lagos. He was the uncle to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola. Naitami Egbe reports.
By family, friends and well-wishers, the remains of Alhaji Abodunrin Kayode Fashola, who is an uncle to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, were interred at the vaults and gardens of the private cemetery, Ikoyi, Lagos. The funeral service was conducted by Islamic scholars from different communities and mosques in Lagos State, who prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased and for comfort for the family members he left behind. Leading the Lagos State delegation to the funeral was Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, accompanied by other members of the State Executive Council. Children, families, friends and relatives of the deceased described late Abodunrin Kayode Fashola as one who lived a good life.
I can say a rallying point to the entire Fashola family. He's well loved and well accepted in the entire Fashola family.
He's my grandfather, but he's more like a father because he really trained me.
He's so unassuming, very accommodating.
Late Abodunrin Kayode Fashola, Giwa Olori Giwa Adini, died at age 76. He is survived by wives, children and grandchildren.
May his dear soul rest in peace. Amen. This is where we'll end today's episode of Newsline. Thank you for being a part of it. And don't forget that the fastest and easiest way to becoming a star is to connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Now let's be patient. The result for the elections will surely be out. Good night and God bless Nigeria.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.